One of the things that has been really difficult for me to overcome has been worrying, and worrying excessively. And I must admit, I'm not where I want to be yet. And there comes anxiety and there comes overthinking, obviously, with all of that. But one of the things that has always helped me to be grounded and gain a better perspective is Psalms 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. And so it continues. Now, whenever I read this, the idea, the image that came to my mind was somewhere where I grew up. Especially verse 2. He makes me lie down in green pastures. I always thought it was this incredibly green mountain where the sheep would just have more than they ever needed. Well, in the mind of a person in the Middle East, what would make more sense is something like this. Not something overly green, overly abundant, but dry. Dry and arid. Because 70% of where the psalm was written is actually desert. So many times we have this idea that God is just going to give us everything that we want. There's this idea of this overabundant prosperity, but what if God led us to get just enough to continue? Because you see, in these places, the moisture that came from the Mediterranean Sea, then small little sprouts or tufts would appear. And the sheep would eat this. So obviously there wasn't a lot of green. So the shepherd worked really hard to find just enough for his sheep. Sometimes in life we go through difficult terrains, and that could take the form of losing a loved one, of losing a job in a moment where you just couldn't afford to, feeling like you don't belong. But life was never about absences of troubles, but instead that you wouldn't be alone when you go through troubles, because the shepherd would lead you. And even in moments where it would just seem so impossible to make it, you wouldn't have to worry because he's in control. In scriptures we find a passage that says, "Be anxious for nothing." And this word, anxious, means to be distracted in different directions, to be divided and pulled into different directions. However, the author of this goes on to mention, even if I'm hungry or even if I'm full, I'll be content. Even if I have plenty, or even if I'm in need, I'll be content. It's because he didn't have this excessive preoccupation, this worry for a perfect life. Because at the moment that he wrote this, he was actually in prison. It's easy to praise God when everything is going well. But it's a heartbreak that leads us back to God. It's that terrible medical report that brings us back on our knees. It's the difficult terrains, it's the difficult moments that lead us to depend on our shepherd. And I don't know about you, but it's so hard for me to do that. But I want to. I want to depend. Not just depend, I want to be fully dependent on the shepherd. Because the Lord is my shepherd, and I will not lack anything. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. You know, it's been a long time since I've made a video, I know, but these videos take a big amount of time and financial resources in order to make. And so if you enjoy these videos and you'd like to support this ad-free channel, then I'd invite you to check out my Patreon and the other links that are in the description. And hopefully these videos can bring positive change into the lives of people who watch them. So thank you so much, and see you soon.